Hey, history, how's it going? Well, you finish up that quiz on George Washington's presidency, the last gold day. Hopefully, you did pretty well on that. You would think George Washington, our first president, that it would be logical then to go on to the second president, right? Which is John Adams. It's actually George Washington's vice president. Well, John Adams, sure, his presidency is important. He had some controversy in it. It's probably not known as one of the great presidencies of all time. But really, I'm trying to hit on some of the most important things in our history, especially since we are kind of running short on time during this weird distance learning period. We don't get as much time together. So I'm really trying to hit on some of the big events that I think are the most important things for you to learn leaving my history class. One of those is something called the Louisiana Purchase, which if you look at this map up in the corner that I'm zooming in and out of, right, you can see there, it is a huge territory of land that overnight, once we obtained it, the United States essentially doubled in size. If you look at this map down here, this grayish brownish area over here, that is what the United States looked like when our third president, almost dropped my thing. Our third president over here, Thomas Jefferson, took charge. All right, so Thomas Jefferson takes charge of a country. As you see, we were expanding. All right, we were adding some territory. We had it all the way up to the Mississippi River. So the United States was that brown area at the time. Where we stopped at was the Mississippi River. All right, the Mississippi River, the most important waterway in our entire country, was very, very important, and Thomas Jefferson knew that. All right, Thomas Jefferson knew that the Mississippi River basically controlled transportation, trade, controlled money flow really to our country, and we didn't own it at that time. In fact, it was kind of flip-flopping back and forth between Spain and the French. Well, at the time, the French controlled the city of New Orleans. All right, so in the year 1803. The French have control of the city of New Orleans and all of this land that you see over here in green or up top here in the lighter orangish color. They controlled all that land, all right, and the Mississippi River. So Thomas Jefferson had a plan. He said, we need to get control of that Mississippi River. His plan to do that was, we need to buy France's biggest city and biggest port on the Mississippi River, which is New Orleans. All right, New Orleans isn't on this map, but if you look where it says West Florida down here, all right, that is basically where New Orleans is. It sits at the mouth of the Mississippi River. So Thomas Jefferson basically thought, if we can control New Orleans, we will have control of the Mississippi River. So, great plan, all right? So he said, we will offer France $10 million, all right, which doesn't seem like a lot, but back then it was a pretty good amount of money. But he said, we'll offer $10 million to France for New Orleans. All right, so he sends a few guys over to France, and they try to negotiate a deal. Now, here's the cool part, though, is that France, all right, they had a leader of a guy called Napoleon Bonaparte. You might have heard of him before. But he was this guy that was kind of like the world's first supervillain. He was literally trying to take over the world. He wanted territory everywhere. He wanted to take over everything. So France was fighting in a lot of wars. And as we've learned before, wars cost a lot of money. So what Napoleon Bonaparte had to do was he had to get some money for France. So he thought, you know what? If the United States is interested in New Orleans, we'll let them have it. But we want a little bit more money. We need a bit more money. And we really aren't doing a whole lot with all of that land that you see there in green. They haven't even explored it yet, so they don't even know what's out there. So Napoleon had this idea that he said, if you want New Orleans for $10 million, why don't you add just another $5 million on that, and we'll give you all of the land. We don't care about it. And Thomas Jefferson was very excited about this. All right, for only 50% more of what he is going to pay, so $10 million up to $15 million, instead of just getting a tiny little city, overnight, he basically doubled the size of our country. One of the biggest moments in our history. And I'm going to let the Ed Puzzle video, that is your assignment today, kind of tell you the rest of the story. All right, so we're going to talk about the Louisiana Purchase over the next couple days here. But that Edpuzzle video does a really good job explaining it as well. You'll have a few questions on the video. Make sure to get those done. Pay attention. And yeah, that's your assignment today. Watch the Edpuzzle video and learn more about what happened with this Louisiana Purchase deal. The biggest land real estate deal in all of history. We basically got most of our country for pennies on the acre. All right, crazy land deal. So hope you watch it. Thanks again for all those videos the other day. It was awesome to read those. Thanks for all the messages. It really lifted my spirit. I love you guys. Miss you guys. Have a good day. Hopefully this assignment's not too hard for you. See you later.